Why your face changes when no one's watching. You check your reflection before you walk into a room. You adjust your expression before anyone even looks at you. It feels automatic. It feels like nothing. But the real reason your face does this is far stranger than you think. Right now, in this exact moment, your face is doing something you didn't authorize. Small muscles around your eyes, a twitch at the corner of your mouth, movements lasting less than half a second. You don't feel them happen, you can't stop them, and they are telling anyone who knows how to look exactly what you're feeling underneath the face you're trying to show. Psychologist Paul Ekman spent decades chasing this phenomenon across the globe. He traveled to an isolated tribe in Papua New Guinea, people who had never seen a photograph, never watched a film, never been exposed to Western faces at all. He showed them pictures of expressions: fear, disgust, anger, joy. They read every one correctly, not because they'd learned it, because it was already written into them. That's the part that should unsettle you. This isn't culture, this isn't upbringing. This is older than language, older than agriculture, older than the idea of human as we understand it today. Here's the question worth sitting with. If your face is constantly leaking the truth, who taught you to hide it? The answer starts around 2 million years ago, in small hunting bands with no written rules and no courtrooms. Trust was a good document, it was a face. A flicker of hesitation could mean someone was about to betray the group. A flash of fear could mean a predator was near before anyone spoke a word. Reading faces accurately wasn't a soft skill back then. It was survival infrastructure. So, evolution did something ruthless. It built two separate systems into your face. One system you control, the smile you choose to give a stranger, the polite nod, the practiced calm. Then there's the second system, the one you don't control at all. Neurologist Guillaume Duchenne discovered this over a century ago while studying facial paralysis patients in Paris. He found that genuine smiles activate muscles around the eyes that almost no one can trigger voluntarily. Fake it all you want, your eyes usually give you away. Think about what that means. Your face was never fully yours to command. Part of it answers to something older than your conscious mind, something built for a world where hiding fear could get you killed by not warning your group in time, but showing it constantly could make you look weak, exploitable, unfit to lead. You are the descendants of the ones who learned to walk that line, not perfectly, just well enough. And that tension never left you. It's still running in the background every single day, in every conversation, in every job interview, in every first date. You think you're presenting yourself. Your ancestors' oldest survival code is quietly doing something else entirely. Psychologist Sylvan Tompkins was the first to push this idea into a real science. Working in the 1950s, he proposed that emotions weren't just feelings, they were biological programs, hardwired sequences that fired through the face automatically, faster than conscious thought could intervene. Ekman took that idea and ran it through decades of rigorous testing, eventually building something called the facial action coding system. It broke the human face down into over 40 distinct muscle movements, each one mapped to a specific emotional signal. Anger isn't just anger, it's a lowered brow, tightened lids, a specific pressing of the lips, all firing together in a pattern that shows up in Tokyo, in Papua New Guinea, in Buenos Aires, identically. Why would evolution bother making this universal? Because a signal only works if everyone can read it without training. Imagine an early hunting band spread across tall grass, tracking a herd of animals that could kill a man in seconds. There's no time for words. A single look of alarm has to travel faster than sound, faster than thought, straight from one nervous system to another. The people who could send that signal accurately survived longer. The people who could receive it accurately survived even longer than that.
Over hundreds of thousands of years, this turned into something baked so deep into your biology that even people born blind, who have never seen a single face in their life, still produce the exact same expressions of joy, sadness, and fear as everyone else. That detail means more than it seems. It means these expressions were never learned by watching others. They came pre-installed. But here's where it gets stranger. Your face isn't just a broadcast system, it's also a battlefield between two competing networks in your brain. One pathway runs through the motor cortex, the part responsible for voluntary movement, for the smile you choose to give your coworker. The other runs through the limbic system, the ancient emotional core of your brain, the part that doesn't ask permission before it acts. When these two systems agree, your expression looks natural. When they conflict, something leaks. Researchers call these micro-expressions. They can last as little as 1/25th of a second, gone before most people even register that something flickered. Ekman later worked with law enforcement and intelligence agencies precisely because of this. Trained observers could catch these fractional expressions and identify concealed emotion with startling accuracy, spotting fear hidden under a calm denial or contempt hidden under a polite smile. Most people never learn to consciously see it, but somewhere in your brain, an older, quieter part of you is reading these signals constantly, whether you realize it or not. That uneasy gut feeling you get around someone who seems fine but something feels off, that's not intuition in some mystical sense. That's ancient facial reading software running a background check your conscious mind never asked for. Consider what this means about deception. If concealment always leaves a trace, then true deception was never really possible for most of human history. You could lie with words, your face would still testify against you. This created an arms race that shaped human social behavior itself. Anthropologists studying deception across primates found that the better a species got at detecting dishonesty, the more sophisticated its members had to become at partial concealment, small suppressions, quick recoveries, forced smiles that almost work. Humans didn't evolve to be perfect liars. We evolved to be leaky liars, good enough to survive social friction, never quite good enough to erase the truth completely. That's the trade-off wired into your face right now. Not perfect honesty, not perfect deception, something in between, shaped by 100,000 years of small groups who needed both trust and self-protection to survive at the same time. Here's the twist. You'd think evolution would eventually build a face that lies flawlessly, since deception can offer real advantages. It didn't, and the reason why is almost the opposite of what you'd expect. A perfect poker face would have been a liability, not an asset. Groups that couldn't read each other's true emotional state couldn't coordinate a hunt, couldn't sense betrayal building before it exploded into violence, couldn't comfort a grieving member or recognize genuine remorse after a conflict. Total concealment would have made social life impossible. So evolution didn't optimize your face for secrecy, it optimized your face for trust, just leaky enough to keep the group functioning, just controllable enough to keep you from broadcasting every private thought to every stranger you pass. That means the flicker of fear you failed to hide during a job interview isn't a personal failure, it's your ancestors' survival system doing exactly what it was built to do, prioritizing group cohesion over your individual comfort. Now look at your life today through that lens. Video calls where you consciously arrange your face before the camera turns on. Photos where you practice the same natural smile 40 times before one looks convincing. Poker nights, negotiations, first dates, all of it running on hardware designed for small hunting bands of maybe 50 people, not a world of cameras, screens, and strangers evaluating you at scale. Consider the modern job interview. You sit across from someone you've never met, trying to project calm competence, while your limbic system runs its ancient threat detection software in the background, unconvinced that a stranger judging your worth isn't dangerous. Your hands might not shake, your voice might hold steady, but somewhere around your eyes, for a fraction of a second, the truth flickers through anyway. And research on hiring managers shows that trained interviewers, even without knowing the science behind it, often report an intuitive sense of who seems off, picking up on exactly these fractional signals without ever naming what they saw. Think about how much of modern life is built around managing a broadcast system you don't fully control. Social media profiles curated to project a version of your face the algorithm decides is worth seeing. Video calls where people angle cameras to hide fatigue, stress, boredom, only for a flicker of genuine emotion to slip through anyway during an unguarded second. Dating apps built entirely around still images, stripped of very motion that would reveal what a person actually feels. We've built an entire digital world trying to outrun a signaling system that took 2 million years to perfect, and it still finds a way through. So the next time you feel like you've composed the perfect neutral expression, remember what's actually happening underneath it. A hunting band-era alarm system is still running, quietly reading every face around you, and quietly being read in return, whether you consented to